Cody here. It's been a while since we've seen you. I see you got a new look, the tattoo. Can you talk to us about the inspiration of that and when did you get it?
Yeah, I just love artwork, tattoos. Actually, I was getting my armpit done, and it was hurting a little bit, so I was like trying to let it cop out to my tattooer. I was like, let's put one on the face. So I went to the face and did it, and just to give me some time to not act like a sissy on the armpit. So we put the face tattoo on and just went with it. Full send. Fuck it.
Yeah. As I said, last time we saw you was in for UFC 300. So I want to ask you, like, have you missed being back? And I guess what's been the wait, I guess, for you to get back in the cage?
Oh man, this is everything to me. I've sacrificed my whole life for these opportunities, for these moments, for fight camps, for it all to be in there, like it was a goal to always be a UFC world champion, make it to the UFC, to fight in the big stage all across the world. So, being out, something that you love and would do anything for, is challenging mentally, emotionally, physically, especially within the fight with at UFC 300. I was feeling great, against a good, adversary in Davidson Figueiredo. I ended up getting taken down in the second round and had really bad vertigo. So I had to go through extensive, therapy, specialist, was in and out of the hospital, would be put in the hospital from vertigo. So that uncertainty of not knowing when, I was going to even just be a regular, back to my regular self. I couldn't even lay down, sleep. It was troubling, but I kept faith in myself, prayed to my God, had a close team, family that loved me and supported me and, was going to get me through it. And I would like to, take hats off to the UFC performance, the doctors there, the PT, everyone there. They put my health first, instead of just jumping me back in the cage to fight, as the fighters wanted to do, I wanted to do. When I was sitting in that hospital bed, I was wanting to do anything to get able to fight, weigh in a fight, but there was no way that I was making it. So they put my health first and really took care of me and got me the best help that I needed to get better, and I felt better than ever. I've had a great camp. We're here talking about the fight, but I'm just very excited to go out there and fight on Saturday for a lot of reasons, but this is the best I felt in a while. Just mental clarity, physically, emotionally. I'm just excited to go on there, and Raoni Barcelos is a dog. That's why I asked for this fight, and just excited to be back, 14 months away.
Yeah. Glad you're doing well, man. And I got to ask you, like, you've had a lot of health setbacks throughout your career, which is why we've seen, those periods of inactivity and whatnot. How much has that tested your drive and I guess your want in this sport? Because I think a lot of fighters or a lot of people that would go through that would probably at some point just bail out entirely on the sport. But here you are, returning and you're still at it.
Yeah, I look at it like this. I was under 2 years in the UFC, became a world champion. 6 fights, blasted to the top, came out of nowhere, and that was that part of my life. This is part of life. Like, hey, it was easy to win the title, you know what I mean? It's harder to stay here, and that's what I'm doing. I'm staying here, I think that's the mindset, the mentality that I bring into it. Like, hey, I'm a former world champion. It's great, love it. It was something that was amazing to accomplish, but it didn't fulfill me. So for me to be here, going through what I go through, the injuries, setbacks, losses, whatever you want to call it, to wake up every day and chase this dream, to push yourself to the limit, to set goals inside of the fight, the fight career I'm talking about, something that wakes me up every day, it motivates me, it scares me, it fills me with just all kinds of different emotions, to go in there and fight another man that's willing to do whatever to get the win, to provide for his family, and that's what it is at the end of the day. Like, I got a family that I'm trying to provide for and, make a good life for. So fighting was my outlet, was my gift, I got to use it. So I'm blessed with the skills and just go out there and have fun out there, and that's it. So I think that what keeps me coming back and just showing up every day, no excuses, no one's going to save you, you just got to work hard. No one cares how hard you just got to do it yourself.
Yeah. Did it ever get close to you hanging it up, or? Or no, you always knew you were going to return?
I mean, I've wanted to hang it up even before I was a professional. You know what I mean? Like why do I do this? Well, why do I want to do this? But I had no other option. You know, fighting was my way out. You know, all my friends are hooked on drugs, dead, locked up, you know, not happy with life. I was like, man, if I can just tunnel in, zone in, and grind at this, you know, I had, you know, everyone told me I was, you know, I had good potential and it was, you know, all this and that, but I was like, man, he really believed it. And then, you know, I made those sacrifices, you know, moving out to alpha male and training with those guys and seeing how talented I was without even really having any experience in fighting besides just, you know, I started training, you know, as a martial artist. I didn't grow up in a martial art dojo, a jiu-jitsu academy. We grew up street fighting, boxing, and wrestling, you know, and going out there to the gym and seeing those talented, you know, humans train to fight and the way they live the martial arts as martial artists was inspiring to be around. And I just like, and this is where I need to be. Got there and, you know, had some luck, got, you know, really good friendships, family from that, and just kind of took off from there and knew that's what I wanted to do. But it's all the time. I mean, even after I won the world title, I wanted to be done. You know, I was like, because it didn't fulfill me. You know, being a world champion, like it wasn't nothing. You gotta think I sat about that and focused on that and worked for that for over a decade. And then when I got the title, it was like, this is it. You know, it wasn't it for me. But I love fighting so much that I need fighting. You know, I truly do need fighting in my life to help me battle my demons, focus, you know, to have that just hunger to wake up and attack every day like I do, you know, and also just the unknowing of the future. Like, yeah, we can say I had a great camp, feeling good, but you still don't know what's going to happen inside that octagon come Saturday night. You can be prepared as you want, but it's still the unknowing. I think that's what like excites me every day to get up and train and, you know, and go after it.
Yeah. And lastly, can you give us a preview of this fight with Raoni Barcelos and what are you expecting from him? A veteran like yourself, been around for a while.
Yeah, Raoni's been around for a while. You know, looks really good in his last few fights. You know, he's a dog, you know, so, you know, it's going to be a fight, and I'm excited for that. You know, I'm prepared wherever it needs to be, wherever it needs to go to get this win. Just focused on that, you know, and hope he had a great preparation, and, you know, the best of luck to him, and excited to get to him Saturday.
Hey, Cody. I saw on Instagram you recently, I think about 2 weeks ago, hit 3 years sobriety. So congratulations on that. Can you sort of speak to how that journey has been as, you know, as it coincides with your mixed martial arts journey?
Yeah, you know, thank you for that. I appreciate it. You know, being sober has been a game changer for me. Not that I was a big addict or, you know, but, you know, when I chose to do that, it was always never right decision. So for me for my, you know, career, it's amazing. As a father, it's amazing. As a boyfriend, it's amazing. As, you know, as a son, you know, a brother, like it changed my life in a way that I didn't think that it would, you know, but as I keep progressing and I'm you know, in that, you know, sobriety, I'm stronger. I feel better, I feel clearer, you know. 6 months I haven't, you know, smoked weed either, and I've smoked weed since I was, I don't know, 12 years old, 13 years old. So man, just like the clarity that I have going in, you know, just, it's nice, man. Like it's nice to have that mental edge, you know, of clarity inside my career, but also in my life. You know, like there's no coping mechanism. It's you face your fears and you get up every day and tackle them no matter what. We all go through things, you know. It's like we don't need to mask them with drugs or alcohol. And I come from a long line of, you know, addicts. You know, my father's an addict. Been in prison my whole life. You know, had a lot of examples in my life that were, you know, family members and uncles that been incarcerated, you know, addicts. So it's, you know, something that I never wanted to do, and I always wanted to make my mom super proud, you know. So I just, you know, if I can quit one thing that's not, you know, a bad habit, then, but it's helped out a lot in life and in my career, just focus, you know. So, you know, it's a good living.
Congratulations on that. Sort of related, Sean O'Malley kind of famously, ahead of this UFC 316 fight, mentioned that he had stopped smoking weed this year. He obviously lost, but y'all have a little bit of a history of back and forth. With the win this weekend, is that kind of a fight you would still like to get to at some point?
Yeah, he should have kept smoking because he looked like shit. But yeah, whatever he had to do, Sometimes you lose and you try to reinvent yourself and find yourself. And at the end of the day, man, like you know who you are. You know what you got to do. I know I'm one of the best fighters in the world. So it's like but when you lose, you got everyone in your ear saying you need to do this and do that. Just remember what got you there and who you are at the end of the day. But yeah, that's a fight that, definitely, I think that's a huge pay-per-view sale fight, Sean and I. But like I said, I'm focused on this fight this Saturday, and then we'll let, everything else fall in line.
Do want to go one more to that, though, because after 316, big topic of conversation, Merab Dvalishvili may be the greatest bantamweight of all time. As a bantamweight champion yourself, do you think he's the greatest? Kind of, where do you come down on this argument?
I personally, I like Merab. I think he's a great, great human. I mean, just his hard work and his fighting style and just how he is as a person, really humble guy. Great fighter, he's turning it up. He's doing well, he's winning, he's doing his thing in there. As far as best, greatest, you'd have to line him up. I think it's truly Dominic Cruz is the greatest bantamweight of all time. He's from WC day to here, I think Dominic Cruz has that. It's hard to keep saying, oh, it's the best, it's the best. It's like, how many best or greatest can you have in a weight class? And that just shows, too, with the bantamweight how talented it is. The greatest, the greatest, the greatest. How many people you've heard of that the greatest? You had Henry Cejudo that was in there, that was a bantamweight, flyweight champion, one of the greatest as well. Our weight division is stacked. There's so many talented fighters in that division.
Thanks, and just last one from me. I believe this is the last fight in your current UFC deal. Are you looking to stay with the promotion or maybe test the waters outside, just kind of get through this week and then move from there?
Yeah, see, I do a lot of things that I don't need to publicize or, hey, I'm doing this. I signed a new deal. Ali, my manager, got me a new
Congratulations.
good deal. He's always, taking care of me. So, for me, it's just another fight. I've obviously loved the UFC, want to be with the UFC. It's the best organization in the world. So I let him handle that. It's just another fight for me. Yeah, I'm grateful that, and don't take it in a negative way, but I don't need to go out and praise, new 4-fight deal. I'm here, it's great. I'm thankful to be here for another contract, but, for me, it's another fight, and I got to get the job done.
Thank you.
Yep.
Cody, right here. You talked about the Vertigo thing. I just kind of wanted to get into that a little bit because we've seen with professional golfers who get vertigo on the golf course, they get it to the point where they'll be walking down the fairway and they have to lie down because it's so bad. That's golfing. You got to go in there and you got to deal with somebody that's punching you in the face for 15 or 25 minutes. Plus, you've got to be able to, be balanced and light on your feet on there. So when it came to the vertigo, was it to the point that you couldn't even move side to side without getting off balance or things like that?
Oh, it was horrible. It was actually in the Davison fight when I got taken down. And that's why I laid there. I was like, oh man, I couldn't. It was just spinning so bad. Felt like I had the drunk spins, and I'm like, I got Davison, saying, come on, Cody. And I was like, bro, once I stop spinning, man, I'm getting up and we're getting after it, but they just never stopped. And, then training takes in, I was in a vulnerable position where he could really elbow the shit out of me. I was trying to hold his head, and I really didn't know. I couldn't really see, but I could hear. I just feel like I was on a carousel. I could know my coaches were on the right, so I knew I was positioned in the right. But in those transitions of the arm choke and then getting the hooks in, my body wasn't reacting. I was just so lagged. And then I was in, just after the fight, I ended up having to just tap out. It was horrible. And then go in the back, and Heather and Olivia took care of me. They gave me some stuff to help me from throwing up. Constantly threw up. I went back and watched the fight at my house, and I kept laying my head back a little bit and running in the bathroom throwing up. Finally, we went to the hospital, and I was admitted to there and just kept throwing up. And thought we had it right. Went to see Dr. Collins in UPMC in Pittsburgh. Did their vestibular therapy. Did all that again. I was like, all right, cool, feeling good. Body was feeling good. I got back in the training. It was all right. And then, fight week with Miles Jones, that Tuesday I woke up and told my girlfriend, I was like, man, I got vertigo. And I just couldn't stop throwing up. Didn't even know where I was at. She had to help me to the car, drive me there. We drove me to the UFC PI. Heather advised us to go there. Dr. Davison saw us at the hospital, drugged me up so much that I'd wake up, throw up, pass back out, like I was just out of it. And it was like a couple months, man, I just felt not myself, had to go back to the UPMC, go through the vestibular therapy. So like I said, like that 14 months out wasn't just like I chose to be out. Like I was dying to get back. Like I loved to fight. I enjoyed to fight. Like Davison fight was good, you know, until it wasn't. You know, that's something that I couldn't control inside there. But this camp's been good. I'm just hoping that everything stays afloat, we make the weight, and just go have fun on Saturday.
And then you talked about earlier about, you know, how there's been so many points in my life where I've been done with fighting. And like, I kind of relate to it, right? Because it's sort of that addictive personality thing where you're like, man, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then you get there and you're like, okay, I got here. Yeah. So what other things do you have in your life to kind of keep you on track, you know, when you get to that point with fighting, like, all right, I'm bored of this, but I know I got to do it because it's my job. Like, we see the tattoos, we see the motorcycles. Yeah. So, like, what sort of things can you go to when you get tired of fighting and be like, man, I got to check out for a day or, you know, 25 minutes or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely the motorcycles. You know, I have a business partner, Lawrence Allen. We're starting No Love Cycles, so we're doing frame-up custom FXR builds. We actually have our first giveaway bike. Should be wrapping up in the next month, so look for that on No Love Cycles and our Instagram pages for that giveaway, how to enter it. But yeah, dude, work on the bikes is like awesome. Like Lawrence Gray, I've known him for years and became a real close friend of mine, helps me out. He's a wizard with motorcycles. I mean, I can pick up a bolt that's in my garage. I'm like, dude, what's this off of? I'm like, dude, it's here. He's like, all at your you know, your bracket to your exhaust. And I'm like, oh shit, like he's on FaceTime in Tennessee. You know what I mean? I FaceTime him and I have shitty Wi-Fi in my garage. I'm like, dude, like I can't get this clutch out. Like he's like, oh, you know. So it's good, man. It gives me something else to think about. Like I'll be in there, you know, and I'm like, it's one of those things like if you're taking the primary off, like you have to do it all. Like I can't, like if I can't sleep that night. If I know I got it half taken apart, I have to go down and do it. And he's the same way. He's a hard worker. He's super talented, and also, man, he's just a good dude to be around. Good energy. So we're excited for that, you know, adventure together with No Love Cycles. So definitely the motorcycles and also riding. I love riding. Just getting on the bike and just, you know, going riding. Like, you know, things that I like to do and enjoy to do can kill you. But, you know, it's like, hey, I'm going to go ride my bike, just have some fun. I'm going to go ride to the gym. Hope I don't crash on the way and die. And I hope I don't get, you know, my leg broken in sparring. And like I'd ride my bike and I'm riding there, I'm like, man, I hope I don't, like, I literally think that all the time, like, I hope I don't break my leg kicking so I can ride my bike back or it's gonna have to get towed. You know, that's the shit that goes in my head when I go to the gym, I'm on the bike, I'm like, damn, like, but you know, it's freeing, I like it. I pull up on the bike and so for me, you know, horses too, spending time with my family. You know, I got an amazing girlfriend, son. I mean, I'm winning at life, you know, that's the thing, like, the wins and losses in this, you know, keep me afloat and keep me able to do and provide. But like at the end of the day, man, like they're my rock, they're who I go to. So life is good for me with whatever. You know, wherever I'm at, I know I always can count on them to have people that care about me and will pick me up when I need, you know, carried.
Hey, Cody, so you mentioned, you know, you said you were winning at life with your family and everything you've got going on outside out of the cage.